on, guys? Adrian Fox back here at Killzone Klutch. You are now locked in the clutch. To my left, we've got Ty Sassafras, Grissim. To my left, we've got Josh, voice word, the most deadliest man alive. And so today, we're going to be going over NJPW's G1 Climax final. It is so exhausting. Ty, what do you think? Sassafras.
Well, the G1, all I gotta say is the MVP is the Stone Pitbull, Ishii. He was the MVP.
How many matches has he tore the house down with over this?
What,
Course of this tournament?
5 matches?
Four,
5? Yeah, something like that. But
yeah,
his match was Kenny Omega. I was saying just clap.
Probably the most Kenny versus Kota and Ishii versus Kenny, probably the two best matches.
Well, of course, because it's Omega was up.
Well, yeah, but still, no, Ishii though.
Yeah,
had 4 top tier performances as well. So
oh yeah,
we're giving him that award. Tomohiro Ishii, you are the MVP of the G1 Climax 28, is it?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
The voice. What do you think about that? What do you think about those statements that we said here? He doesn't seem too impressed. No. With those statements that we just
I know what
said.
he's not. I know why he's not impressed.
Why isn't he impressed?
I am not impressed by the win of prom hair Hashi, who has better hair than my wife.
I mean,
like seriously, dude, are you getting dressed up to go to the prom every time you go out to the ring?
He does his own hair. Okay.
He does. Oh.
Fatalist?
No, we're straight. Just married. Okay.
Well, yes, Hashi wins. I was this close of predicting Kota Ibushi to win. This close. And Ibushi should have won. He should have won.
But, do you think that the story's not done because now Tomohiro Ishii has a title defense against Kenny in the future because he's beat him, and now, since Kota has beaten Kenny, somewhere he should get a title defense against whoever's the champion. So Kota's not out yet. He still came out on top. Yes, Hashi has gotten the amazing spot of being main eventing the Tokyo Dome, which we are excited for. That's probably going to be the most must-see match that that we are going to check out. So let's move on to spots of the G1.
The best spots.
The best.
Sanada! That's his boy.
Sanada. Okay, so we're gonna go.
Start with him.
We're gonna start with Sanada.
Start with
biggest improvement.
Yes,
So
I agree.
Over last year.
So MVP Ishii, most improvement.
Sanada.
Sanada of the LIJ.
Seiya Sanada. Seiya it with me.
Seiya.
See what I did there?
We're gonna say it at the same
See what I
time.
did there?
Seiya
Sanada. Okay.
I don't know way to do that. But like, what stands out to me against Cold Skull is the counters versus Naito. And the number one, I mean, the stand-up exchanges were terrific. That's what stood out to me. Sanada's Tiger Suplex, a big influence from the Great Muta. I mean, you love the Great Muta. The voice is
Here we go. There it is. There it is.
There it is. Like a little bit of that voice. So actually, the Destino counter from like Naito into Sanada's Destino. Did you pause it?
I had to pause it and get up for a minute because that was incredible.
It was like pretty top tier. Anyways, Naito basically came up with that win.
Yeah.
Also, Okada versus Hashi. You talked about storytelling earlier.
Oh, that match, yeah, besides the final, that match was fantastic. Fantastic storytelling. Hashi and Okada have a long history. Pre-us.
Way too long
history.
Oh, come on.
So, but what a way to add another chapter in the history with them fighting to a draw.
Yeah. And
Hashi getting the points to get into the finals. Like, that was a great way of just adding more to it. Great way.
Is there any, was that surprisingly good, or did you think that they would have initially delivered in that match? Or were you watching it as it gets better over time? Because watching Hashi's matches, I don't want to sound cruel or like unappreciative. I'm always surprised when I start enjoying Tanahashi's matches. Okay, I know there's going to be a lot of people mad at me. Okay, I understand. But hey, it's okay. But I am surprised over time watching his matches. They just seem to get better. You don't expect him to be that good. I feel like a slow starter, but it's almost intentional. Sassy with the Styles Clash. Who would have thought of that? You know, Tombstone, Rainmaker, and the Sling Blade. We're big Okada fans here, too.
Wait,
I'm not.
What? Wait. Hold
There's
on.
a guy
Hold on.
behind.
There's somebody who loves.
But there might be somebody,
There's somebody. There's
you know,
somebody.
here in spirit that might love.
He's calling him now. I know.
Let me see.
Talking to you, Aamaud.
Yeah. Oh.
He is the
Aamaud Rutherford.
He is the mark.
Ooh.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Did I strike a chord?
Oh. We better watch your stuff. Watch your
so
chaos
it's
stuff.
like, okay, we're gonna have to stay kayfabe.
Yeah.
We're gonna stay kayfabe. Sonata versus Ishii. Another match with your boy. Seiya
Sanada.
Yes. Ishii with the Shining Wizard, and then the switch off with the trademark moves. These guys also just trade so much. I guess they're trading off. It just went so smooth. I loved it. It was another, top tier match. And then Kota versus Kenny. The storytelling. These guys know each other so well.
Tiger bomb.
Tiger bomb off the top rope. Top rope Pearl River plunge.
Ahmed Johnson.
Ahmed Johnson.
Loved Ahmed Johnson. But moonsault knees to on the ground. Fantastic. Also unexpected. Stiff. Reverse Rana into some type of driver. Like when, okay, let me see if I can describe this to you guys. So Kenny or Ishii. Okay, there's Ibushi. I'm gonna say Kota.
You do.
You say Kota. So Kota went for the reverse Rana. Basically, Kenny stops the momentum. So Kota's head is dangling. So he's gonna have his head basically, if you imagine me, someone holding someone's legs and they're just kind of dangling from my back, and he drops to his knees. Sick maneuver, and I give credit to Kota and also Kenny for coming up with that spot and actually being comfortable with each other to do that. I mean, like you said, these guys are life partners, and
there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that
at all.
None.
So that's what I have. I mean, in the top rope, and then of course Kota gets the win in that match. I think there's probably how many. We're not going to do stars here. We even said we're not doing stars here on the friggin' Clutch. Okay? The Killzone Klutch. So, Dave Meltzer. Alright, so. What are your final thoughts about the G1? Do you think it delivered? Do you think it was better than last year? Or what do you think you just can't compare it? Real quick, also, Zack Sabre Jr., Naito's gonna get you.
You had to throw it in there.
It's like he's going to come after you soon, and you're gonna get it.
Oh,
you are going to get it.
You're waiting on that.
I'll be waiting.
You've been waiting on that for a while.
I have been. He's coming next year, or later this year. King of Pro Wrestling, or whatever. Destruction Tour, anything. They're coming. LIJ's coming, and you're going to get it. What? Get what?
There you go, right there.
Okay. You get it. Okay. So, moving on. I think it was amazing. I think it delivered. I can't wait for the next G1 29 next year. That'll be great. And then there's, of course, before then, that's a year away. There'll be a lot of other programming that will deliver. For sure. So the next on our list, what do we got on the Clutch?
So next we have the G1 Supercard. It's raising a lot of controversy.
Ooh. Oh yeah.
It's making certain people mad. We'll get into that a little bit later. But this show is in Madison Square Garden, MSG, and it's selling out. Other companies haven't done that for 3 years, and then before that, I believe it was 6 years.
Something like that.
It's been a really long time since anyone sold that show out. Dave Meltzer even. No, that was more. Well, that was all kind of all in and Supercard.
Yeah.
But Supercard, I believe he said, "Give me the Bucks and Omega, and I'll sell it out." And Yeah, they've been doing a good job. So that is coming up in
April, my birthday weekend.
Right around the time of WrestleMania.
On my birthday.
I wonder how I wonder if there was any type of coincidence for that type of booking for that date. So we'll have to look into that more so. And what do you think also about certain other companies about this MSG? I mean, this is the mecca of pro wrestling in the States here.
And WWE has had a stranglehold on them for a while, for a very, very long time. And it's kind of great how someone decided to come in and sell it out. And now G1 Supercard is on the same weekend. And a certain somebody is not happy because it's going to take away viewers and all that. So it's actually really awesome. So you need to step up your game. That's what you need to do. So, yeah.
So how many individuals are going to be on this Super Bowl? So we got the Bucks, we got Kenny. Is there anybody else on that card?
Yeah. Well, we're going to be a little...
We know for sure that I believe Naito...
Okada,
yeah.
All the big stars are going to be there. It's going to be a massive event. So,
did you also, side note real quick, did you also notice Shibata in the corner?
Yes.
That was great. I actually really flipped out on that.
My second favorite kind of bread.
Yeah. I think I might be referring to Shibata.
So
that's like bread. But,
moving on.
These are bread.
Yeah, bread and butter. Oh, look at that. So we have a big weekend with WWE next week. It is the Takeover Brooklyn and SummerSlam Saturday and Sunday. So we have a stacked card for all of them, but there's a few matches that actually stand out to me among other things. So we're gonna get started with one of them. I'm pretty interested in Velveteen Dream versus EC3.
So for coming from someone that's not too, adept on Velveteen
Rabbits.
Velveteen EC3, you can give us an idea of his, kind of his deal, his moveset, his kind of personality and all that.
Kind of inspired by, like, the classic style.
Rick Rude,
Macho Man,
everybody.
A little bit of Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Outstanding charisma, like Shawn Michaels charisma.
So
every
match he's in, I want him to win.
You want him to win?
I want him to win every match.
Really?
Yeah.
That's your new favorite guy.
Yeah.
So moving on from Velveteen.
So this is NXT Takeover Brooklyn 4. So my pick, I want Dream to win. So obviously, we have the NXT Tag Team Championship. Okay. We have the Undisputed Era.
Okay.
Versus Mustache Mountain.
What?
So
Mustache Mountain.
They are the British tag team.
Okay, is that their actual name, Mustache Mountain, or
that's their actual
tag team?
Tag team name.
Put in Pete Dunne in its British strong style.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and now, my pick, I want Undisputed Era to win. I do, but it's gonna be an awesome match. It's gonna be an awesome tag team match.
I'm sure.
Like those two have great chemistry.
Over time, you guys will notice that I take favor over the Brits.
He does.
Shout outs to Paul Burchill, not the pirate.
Just
Paul Burchill. Avalanche C4.
All day.
All day.
You didn't like him swinging from the...
No. Hey, no pirate.
Shiver me timbers?
No pirate. We also have the NXT North American Championship match.
Nice.
Adam Cole,
the Canadian
Bay versus Ricochet.
That should be
pretty awesome.
These guys are probably pretty adept with each other with their storied history outside of where they are now. Basically, in NJPW and also their tenure in ROH and various other companies that they've performed with. So I think it should be a fantastic. I think a performance. It should be smooth. I think it should, if they have enough time, I should say. It should be top tier. What's next on that?
We have the women's NXT Championship match between. I don't like her very much. The female Baron Corbin versus.
Who is the female Baron Corbin?
Who is the female Baron Corbin?
Shayna Blazer.
Oh, Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Blazer.
She's one of the 4 horsewomen of UFC.
She's terrible. So
she's like Dark Bailey.
Yeah, well, she's not all that great.
She isn't gonna hug you.
No, she's not.
She's gonna bite your throat out.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And versus Kari Shane. So that's gonna be an interesting contest of styles. I kind of want Blazer to retain because I want Blazer. See,
Baszler.
Female Baron Corbin. Female Baron Corbin. But anyway, I want her to retain because I want her to go in a program with Candice LeRae. So that'd be interesting. But
Candice LeRae's signed a contract with them.
yeah,
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That'd be, like, interesting.
So-
She's gonna be where Johnny is. Johnny.
Well, yeah.
She's Candice wrestling and he's Johnny wrestling.
Yeah.
Right, Johnny, Candice G. But anyway,
Yeah, that leads into the main event, which is supposed to be a triple threat match. It's supposed to between Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano, and Aleister Black. But unfortunately,
Aleister Black got a groin injury.
Yeah.
Let's just call it that.
yeah,
So he got attacked
yeah, quote unquote
backstage.
So now it's a last
If
man
you take
standing
my
match
meaning.
for the NXT Championship, and that's going to be a phenomenal match because those two have a fantastic chemistry. So ready for that one. That's probably one of my all-time favorite rivalries.
So that's going to sum up the takeover.
Takeover, yep. Takeover Saturday.
All right. So moving on to SummerSlam.
I thought it was Summerfest.
Same thing.
Slam.
Same class, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Summer.
We've already touched on this last recording. They've actually added more matches to it. Miz versus Bryan. They've added Baron Corbin versus Finn Balor.
You can't say his name without laughing. The Constable.
Baron
You
Corbin.
have to see his moniker
Yeah.
here on the footage.
Here you go. Well, I'm not a fan. So, then we have the Belgian brothers. Can't even pronounce that one
I
right.
have no idea who you're talking about.
Yeah, well.
Oh,
Belgium.
the Bludgeon Brothers.
Bludgeon! See? See?
You see what I'm working with?
See? Yeah.
The Belgian
Why am I
Brothers.
even on camera? Why am I on
They
camera?
come out with like waffles and
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I was
sounds great.
who
they
is
dip
this?
they dip their noses in
I'm
coffee.
wondering who are. I legitimately thought it was like some I don't know, French,
Yeah.
like
So-
David.
Yeah. All right, we cannot talk about
We
David.
cannot talk about
We
David,
cannot.
but
We cannot. Legend.
it's like no,
That's only because I made him
He
a
did.
legend.
He really did.
100%
right. 100%.
David.
David, yeah. So
So the Bludgeon
the Bludgeon Brothers versus the New Day for the NXT, the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships.
Bludgeon Brothers won. Moving
I
on.
think New Day's gonna win. But
Bludgeon Brothers win.
So and then we have Cedric Alexander versus Drew Gallagher for the Cruiserweight champion.
Gallic.
Yeah.
Yep.
I never even heard of this, bro.
Drew Gulak.
Gulak. Okay.
Gulak.
Oh,
Why am I even here? Anyway.
Gallic gun.
Gun.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter how you pronounce their name.
Exactly.
Sorry, I'm butchering names. I apologize. So then I don't care who wins that match. Okay. Sorry.
It seems like they have a lot of individuals. You're naming off all these names, and here I am noticing a lot of people that I've been watching outside of the WWE, and now them signing here. It is just nabbing and nabbing.
Yeah.
It's like if I can give everyone a scenario that I feel like everyone would understand. We are in an orchard. Okay, we are in an orchard here. And they are walking, and our orchard has various fruits. Those fruits are pro wrestlers. And you see individuals, and if you have the funding, you're able to pick those fruits. And so individuals like, Vince McMahon, etc., and everyone in his circle, I'm not just going to say that it's just him, but there's more than just him. We can't just... So anyways, yes, so we have, we were just basically...
There wasn't a sign off stage that
not at all.
gave us a note on something.
Not at all. But anyways, Vince is picking that because he's able to. And he's picking them not for their ripe, attributes, I should say. Yeah, they are ripe, but they're just basically, it's more for just to have them in their
Eliminated
The
competition.
clutch.
no, it's not. They're not in the clutch. They're in a refrigerator. they're in the refrigerator going stale. They're not stale, but just growing moldy and just like they're
way to sell the show.
Yeah. No, it's not like wait. What do you mean way to sell the show? It's just like they're going bad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just like. It's like
There, to be fair, there is a there's a joke that's ongoing on Being the Elite, which you can find on YouTube. Shout out to Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Bullet Club, where they talk about this a lot. It's a come back to me. It's on the tip of my tongue again.
Okay, but yes, the orchard. I was saying, you guys understand it. So, Sassafras, do you understand what I say by the freaking orchard?
I do.
Thank you. But you continue to still.
I remember now.
Okay.
205 Live is kind of a joke in the Indies as well as New Japan. I noticed that I said Indies and New Japan. New Japan is not independent wrestling. They are an empire, and they're going to. Never mind.
Okay. WWE is an empire, and they will.
They're
grow.
the rebels.
So what I'm saying, they will
They're
grow
the rebels.
as long as they. And I feel like they can have some people being compromised as well. So some individuals can be compromised, and I think they'll still be okay because there's a lot of guys I feel like they're going to step up that could step up there as well and help out. So like I said, you got people that want to head to America, have the American dream or whatever, whatever. Take it if you have, no pun intended.
American dream.
It's the American dream, no pun intended. But that's the thing. At the end of the day, no matter what you're going to do, you can come over and they can promise you this, that, and the other, but you could be just doing whatever. 205 Live. Name off another show.
Okay. Yeah.
Though that's the one that has the joke behind it.
Yeah.
It's
that's
205 Live that's sort of like the bottom of the barrel.
So like
that's scraping the scum off the bottom of the barrel.
So
let's move on.
No, just give me a second here.
You had 5. You got till 5.
I've got 2 minutes. Okay, and I don't know how I know how much time I have left. Okay, I just know. So
passionate.
I'm passionate. We're all about passion here. If you want to talk about the clutch, I'm going to bring you to passion. Okay.
So SummerSlam. Train of thought.
If you didn't catch it on Instagram, shout outs to Killzone Klutch. Yeah. That's us. I'm giving shout outs on our own show. On Instagram, if you want to learn about passion.
Promos right here.
If you want to learn about passion.
Here we go.
And passion plus passion. Passion.
Yeah. That basically summed up our one of our first Instagram interviews that was extremely passionate.
I'm very passionate about it.
Yes, very.
Passion's everywhere.
Moving on.
So let's talk about the boring main event, SummerSlam.
All right.
I want to know about this amazing main event.
All right. So we got.
Oh my gosh! Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah, go ahead. It's, Universal title match.
Borg.
Yeah,
Lazor.
Done. Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Get it out.
Please stop making this match.
We need Braun to take over, please. He's the lesser of all the evils. Give him the title and move on. Give him the title and move on. I don't care.
So what are you thinking about if you guys? I know
this is interesting too. Real quick, I did catch a clip or something where Kevin Owens actually requested a match with Braun Strowman.
Yeah, as far as Money in the Bank contract.
For the Money in the Bank contract.
Braun's gonna win.
Well, here's the thing. Kevin said it doesn't matter how I win. It doesn't matter if it's a disqualification, count out. We could be seeing Kevin Owens taking the title off of Brock Lesnar or Roman Reigns at the end of the show. That's a possibility.
That's great. It's a great possibility, but I don't think it's going to happen.
It's a possibility.
But it's a universal title.
Yeah, it's whack.
The title sucks.
It's whack.
The Galaxy title, the Milky Way Championship.
Yeah. And then we have.
I mean, it means the same thing as a WWE Championship.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's a bit more history behind that. Some good guys have held that.
Yeah,
the Universal title was created.
Great guys have held the WWE or
Speaking of the WWE Championship, speaking of which, it is AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Should be the main event. It should be the main event.
Exactly. Hold it. Put a pin in it. So, we're going to talk about the WWE Championship here, and the fact of the matter is that, over time, you've had it, like, the company, the wrestler doesn't make the championship. The company does. And I feel like that's what most people are failing to understand here. They're like, well, AJ Styles holds the belt. Or blank. Oh, it doesn't matter who's holding the belt. As long as the company has a similar philosophy behind it, you know, it still means the same freaking thing. And why doesn't anyone understand that?
You said freaking, so I'm sorry.
Gosh, everyone's so freaking stubborn.
Passionate. There's
There's
that word again. There's that word again.
Yeah,
But
God.
So
anyways,
AJ Styles defending title against Samoa Joe should be the main event for SummerSlam, but it's not, unfortunately.
Roman equals ratings.
Yes.
No.
And he,
Even though the crowd craps all over the match, plays with beach balls, keep putting Roman in the main event.
Yeah, please.
Vince, just
Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
People will eventually figure it out. People will eventually love him.
Yeah.
Just by byproduct. Now, here's a thought on that, too. I'm calling this right now. In case I'm right, then I'll say I told you so. And if not, I'll deny everything and admit nothing. Paul Heyman is going to side with Roman Reigns and help him win the championship. Roman Reigns is going to turn into a cool heel. And that's all I have to say
He's not cool.
about that.
well, I feel like, you know, Roman Reigns, what I've watched is what is his stereotypical
You can't sing that song right now.
WWE guy that is basically it's what you're going to get. People are looking for something extravagant and something that's extraordinary when you have these guys, but people are built around these individuals, and people are failing to understand that, and you guys are rebelling because you've had Cena for so long, and now that you're angry about, like, you know, now you're mad, you're like, you don't want this to happen again. Well, honestly, it's your fault, and you know what, I don't really care. So it's just like you guys can continue to be that, you know, that salty about it, and wait, what is this?
Pour some salt on the mic.
Put some salt on the mic, you know.
Mike's a little peppery.
Okay, it is a little peppery, but I'm not going to.
By the way, there's a chance that John Cena could be on the show.
No.
Won't you guys just think that would be awesome?
That would be.
Hold him back. Hold him
The
back.
legendary big match John.
No, he ain't no big match.
The guy, and see, I talked to John the other day, and I'm not making this up.
I would like to do also. We can get possibly again on the phone either Shawn Michaels or
AJ Styles
AJ Styles on the
after SummerSlam. After SummerSlam.
It definitely was not a coincidence that I was not here when AJ and Shawn happened. I am one of Shawn Michaels' biggest fans.
He missed him.
He called and I didn't get.
He was very upset about it.
I know.
He was very upset. He's gone.
You know, he was talking about his role currently in the E, and
he had 2 pages of questions for Shawn.
I did have, you know, about a good variety of questions for HB Kizzle.
John wanted me to tell you though that every time he comes out and he looks at the camera, that kind of old WCW style where he used to talk to the camera, he does this salute that you guys always know, and he always says, "Let's go to work."
Yeah.
He loves Dominic.
Yeah.
He's that's his boy, and he always gives shout outs to
all
him.
his big matches are for tribute for him.
They've been good friends for a long time.
Very long time. Very long time. All those times, like, yeah, that's for him.
Yeah, none of this has been exaggerated here.
You all know what I know.
Yeah, exactly. If we can replay that. Actually, give the scenario set up for that.
Okay, so now this is hilarious. We've been watching John Cena. Well, we've been dealing with John Cena for, you know, however long it's been, 10+ years now.
Wait.
And about 2 or 3 years ago.
13, something weird.
13
numbers.
Whack.
1, 2, 3. John Cena, whenever he comes out, we get a remix of his theme every now and then.
Yeah.
Every then and now. They remix it as John Cena sucks.
Yeah.
John Cena
Please
sucks.
go away.
So, those kind of things. And he came out, I kid you not, I'm not making this up, Go look at the replay. He pointed at the camera and said, "You guys know what I know," and then he said, "Let's go to work."
Yes, he pointed.
So at least you finally admitted that you suck.
It's not even like the endearing suck that they say with Kurt Angle.
Yeah,
like
no.
Okay, so I'm not sure about this, but I'll ask the crew here, KZ crew or KZ, something like that. But anyways, did the fans make up the John Cena sucks just out of the blue?
Yes.
Yep.
So yes, Edge gave Kurt that "you suck" and people. This just naturally happened because people think he actually sucks. So it's not just like people it's not just actually thinking that oh, they're just endearing. This is just fun. This is just oh, they think Kurt Angle sucks and I suck, so I'm in the same league with Kurt Angle. No, it's not. It's not that fact. We, it is just the unadulterated fact that people are just dealing with it because they can't stop watching it. They've got what syndrome? What syndrome am I talking about? It's like Stockholm syndrome. Yeah. Stockholm syndrome. They fall in love with their captors, and the captors happen to be the WWE, which I have not done. I am not in love with them, so it's just like
passionate.
It's but
passionate.
Let's okay. So originally we were going to talk about All In next, but let's end on a positive note.
Okay,
we're not going to end on a negative note.
No, we're not ending on a negative note here. That's not how we do things here on the show. And so
let's talk about. We mentioned this earlier in the show. Let's talk about Vince. I'm not giving any names away. That is mad about Madison Square Garden.
Oh, that's
the
funny.
house that his father built.
Oh, poor baby.
Vince Jr., you have done nothing with Madison
Why do
Square
you
Garden.
think you're so entitled to that? Why does he think he's entitled?
It's his father was the
his
one
building.
That was his
That's
building.
his
He
building.
made it famous, which it's also popular for boxing. If you ask any of us, wrestling started here in St. Louis, wrestling at the Chase. Wrestling at the Chase. NWA title, which is we'll get to that in just a few minutes too. So Vince McMahon is very upset. Even Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave mentioned this. He's known Vince for a long time. He's been calling a lot of matches, and doing the podcast now that probably a few of you have heard of. So Vince is really upset that New Japan and Ring of Honor is taking over this MSG, and they're not only taking it over but sold it out
Quickly. Very
within
quickly.
like a half hour.
Yeah, very quickly.
So Uncle Dave thinks that Vince is going to try and poach the talent. The good thing is about this is that there's some honorable guys there in New Japan. I believe Kenny and the Bucks are some of them. Mm-hmm. They're men of their word. Mm-hmm. I can't see them, even WWE, throwing $1 million contracts at them to buy them out of a show that they've already committed to. And if they did, honestly, I would lose respect for them.
Because how much money they're already making millions of dollars.
They're going to throw as much money as they need at them.
Well, and still, the thing is, the talent has to agree to this too. It's not going to just be like Vince doesn't grab them by the arm and drag them in. He goes, "You work for me now."
Right.
They have to actually agree to it.
Right.
Which right now they're none too fond of it. Kenny did say in a recent interview, it was about a year ago, his dream. He's already the International Wrestling Grand Prix champion.
True.
And that's what IWGP stands for.
Best bout machine.
The best bout machine.
Best bout machine.
His dream is to go to Headline Mania with AJ Styles. So we know he's going to go eventually, but I can't see it happening too soon. We do know their contracts are running out right around the time of All In.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. And speaking of All In.
The NWA Championship.
Yes, the NWA Championship. We have Nick Aldis versus the American
Nightmare
Cody. So, I honestly broke also, before I get into that too, Cody, I feel like when you're doing the code break, not the code breaker, but the vertebreaker, I feel like he's nervous doing it.
It's a high
you know what I mean?
Me too, for real.
Yeah, I'm terrified.
But I'm just saying, it's really coming across that it's just he's just not comfortable doing that
Don't
move.
do it again. Don't do it again.
But it's not done well. It's not like it's just like he just sits down very slow. It's just like
whoever's taken the move should know by now to lift your head up.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Styles Clash.
But just the whole thing, it just doesn't. Just doesn't look right. It's not
right.
Certain moves have to fit your personality as a wrestler, and that's not. I think it's also almost a desperate. People have given Cody like crap for him not fitting the Honor style, not fitting that style, which is probably true. And I know he's tried harder to fit that, but maybe you just can't. You're just not there. And I know he does more of storytelling, which is in the ring, which is more his gig to maybe compensate for not having that ability. You know, not saying that you're the worst wrestler, but I'm just saying like to that certain level. Like I feel like just stick with the Crossroads and maybe like come up with something else. And
I feel like the match is maybe not the sense of like Christian Cage Instant Classic, but I feel like it's gonna be a classic style match.
Right.
Like it's gonna be like kind of like that Macho Man versus Hogan a little bit. We know Cody's a huge fan of Hogan. I mean, look at his weight belt, and if you ask the guy. Hogan, they said in a recent interview that he was king of he does mannerisms or something, and he can talk through his hands, and they all say he's the king.
I'm glad that blonde hair is gone. I'm glad.
Oh yeah.
But also, why is the blonde hair gone?
Because they had to do something for TV.
Yeah.
So, but also for All In, real quick. They added Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr. So that's going to be amazing.
Also, didn't the E also throw money at Pentagon possibly?
Yeah, they are.
At Phoenix?
Yeah.
Phoenix is the thing.
So.
You know, it's like, this is just, it's like I said, it's not, you know, surprising to these people that are making heat. Once you start making heat, they are the fire trucks that try and quell it down and bring it in. So. He's like, if you're going to use it or not, you know what I mean? If they're going to use your abilities or not to a certain degree, they can't use all of it. They don't have the time to use all of it. It's just the fact to basically, how to say, like I said, control. It's all about control. It's all management. They're like the FEMA of pro wrestling. You know what I mean? If there's like, I wouldn't call everything else externally like an infection or something like that, or some global like, you know, situation to where there's like, you know, most of people sick. I guess what do you call epidemic or something like that. But yeah,
Vince just really needs to get over his ego with this.
It's just there's a lot of egos in there.
I mean, what I'm saying is there's no need. Like Vince, you can buy out the entire roster on New Japan right now. They will find guys from Noah and train them up, and we'll be looking at them in the next G1.
Yeah.
And everybody will, you know. Everyone's going to look right past it.
Right.
Well, what other matches are on the All-In card, actually?
Okada versus Marty. Scroll.
That should be an interesting
very
match.
interesting.
That does sound interesting.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a little bit of a fan of the Birdman. I like my, you know,
he doesn't
he's
need to
a
be
Brit.
He doesn't need to be Bullet Club, by the way. You don't need to be Bullet Club, Marty Skrull. You're already too. I mean, you could be called the Plague Doctor, Marty Skrull. Yeah, like he just didn't need to. Like he could have been fine on his own. I know, understand. There's guys that go away and that kind of flourish. They're kind of like or flounder and not kind of get big. But I think he would have. He's charismatic enough to basically make it on his own.
The villain,
or just the Villain Club, or just the villain. Like he was. People gave. He already got these pops on his own, and you know he's a very extremely talented.
They knew his calling.
Like exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. That's good.
So yes, we know. So no Matt Riddle. On this card. So thanks to who?
Thanks to what's his name? Hold on. Starts with a V.
Yeah.
Mick.
Yeah.
Oh, Vince.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Vince,
Yeah, not him.
That's
and Keith Lee.
Well, they did snatch away Tessa Blanchard.
They did?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
So there's some trading going on.
Yeah,
there's some trading going on. There is a trading war going on, I feel like, you know, not getting political here with everything going. We're not going there. Not at all. But I'm talking about pro wrestling here. So we're thinking there is a little bit of trade war, trying to jostle for position. You know, other companies want to grow and, you know, and get to a certain point and to flourish. WWE wants quality control. Excuse me. No. They want just absolute control.
No competition. That's what they want.
Competition. I shouldn't say quality control.
They don't want
That's really funny. It's like, wow. That was a wrong choice of words.
So,
But anyway, but yes, yeah, I feel like that's gonna like sum it up today here on the Clutch. I think we've covered the majority of. Any last comments?
SummerSlam, NXT takeover next week. NXT is gonna rule it all, so it's okay. So
You said NXT is gonna what?
yeah, they're gonna take.
They're gonna outshine.
They're gonna outshine everybody.
The big guys.
Yeah.
The main.
Oh, you're
stage.
gonna compare to Summer, okay?
Yeah. So
All right.
They
All right,
always
so
do.
yes, compared to SummerSlam, we know. I'm sure you guys will enjoy NXT out there. Hope you guys enjoy NXT on Saturday and Sunday. There will be SummerSlam, and then the pre-show will have, I'm sure, the Miz versus Brett. I'm kidding. We're enjoying Miz versus Bryan. So enjoy SummerSlam. Enjoy the NXT. Once again, we are the Killzone Klutch. We are your source for making sense of professional wrestling, and we will catch you all back here locked in the Clutch.